My palate is chicken tenders and burgers, plain and dry.
Yeah, you're going to pay for that. I also see your future in 5 years. You're going to pay for that shit.
I put this on everything.
Party people.
I love
It's your boy,
my
M.A.Z.
sexy, my clothes. I thought I told you this is my world, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, party people in the place to be. It's your boy M.A.Z. Yo. This is important, Skrills.
It's very important. I'm here. I'm ready to be enlightened.
Yeah, man.
I'm ready to talk about everything and anything.
Everything.
There's a lot of things on my mind these days.
Dog, who you telling?
Who better to talk about this than?
Get it off your chest, man.
Hey, man, I'm glad you're here because we're going to do it.
We gonna talk about real quick, wifey. Hi. How you doing? And to the right of me, how do we introduce him? Besides being one of the more lyrical guys out here in his hay.
Agree.
Author, writer.
I would say philosopher.
Philosopher. One of the more brilliant minds out here in this city, dog.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kai Phoenix is in the building.
The OCD.
Down the motherfucking little man, trigger man, swing on the bigger man, leg a nigga flat, yeah. Down the motherfucking little guy, trigger guy, swing on the bigger guy, homie, it's a rap, yeah.
The mistake that we make in life is that we find something that we're good at.
Right.
But in most cases, that ain't your calling. A lot of people give up on their dreams because they don't got time. That's a cop-out. You just gotta be strategic about it. You know what I'm saying? You don't give up on your dreams, you just make time for it. Building up those muscles for excellence led me here. I'm not just writing books.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the best writer that San Antonio ever produced.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great.
I'm gonna drop a bomb real quick.
First and foremost, I just wanna tell y'all, really proud of y'all, man.
Thank you.
I'm proud of what y'all built.
Appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? Hard work pays off. I saw you guys early, back when El Camino, you guys were plotting it, y'all were putting it together. You put it together.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I feel like it's only getting bigger, man. And,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's getting crazy. But real quick,
That's the new one.
The Revolutionary.
That's the new one.
Y'all see it.
My first novel.
Incredible.
Shit was hard.
Listen, I ain't gonna lie, looking at this cover, this book look like it's serious business, dog. Just off the cover alone, if you want to judge a book by its cover. You know what I mean?
It was dope because I modeled it after my mother in the 70s, right?
Okay.
And it's AI, so I got with the artist, and it was like, took like 6 tries, and it's like, nah, that don't look like my mom. And then when I finally published the book, I called my mom up and was like, yo, mom, I used you as the model.
Wow.
And then when she got the book, she was like, that don't look like me. Like, I can't weird, man.
Listen, it's hard to please mothers, man.
Oh my gosh.
I'll tell the story real quick. So I was when I was working on the Converse project, Skrills, I don't know if you remember this story, but we was working on a Converse project, and I tried to do one of those cool, get my mom on the phone, talk to her while I'm doing these kind of skits.
They don't never cooperate.
She the exact opposite. She was not rocking with it at all. I was like, yeah, I'm about to, I'm about to, finish recording this project, putting the final touches on it. She's like, oh, that's cool.
Real short.
And I'm just like, yeah, you can't give me nothing else.
Ma, I'm recording, Ma. I'm recording, Ma.
And she was just like, all right, so, be careful. It's kind of late. I got to go to bed. I got work in the morning. I'm like, all right, Mom.
Turn it off.
And then I was like, yo,
Turn it
Skrills,
off.
delete that.
Turn it off.
Delete that immediately.
I forgot about that, man.
I hope you deleted it.
You just got to get mama.
Yeah.
You just got to get wifey to act like her.
No, nah, straight up. Yeah, I'd probably do that next
Improvise,
time. If I do another project, but we'll see. That's neither here or there.
So that was hard because I got out of my comfort zone. I wrote my protagonist is a woman. I had to write from the female perspective. In the 60s and 50s and stuff like that. I don't know about any of that. So it was a real challenge. But when I was a kid, I was a reader.
Sure.
And I got introduced to, you ever read The Outsiders?
Yes.
Outsiders, it is like pinpoint. And the author that wrote that, she wrote a whole bunch of other books that was like manhood stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't know until I was in my 20s it was a female.
I guess you never really think about it. Because I know, reading it, that was like, wasn't that in the school curriculum?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That and the movie, so it was like, S.E. Hinton, I thought it was and the books that she did, That was then. This is now text and stuff. This is all like gang stuff and
Right.
male stuff. When I found out, my mind was blown. And she did Outsiders when she was 16. 16-year-old girl in the 60s, and she wrote like the ultimate like YA book. And I was
Wow.
like, if she can do that, I can do that. And
Absolutely.
I read a book on Afeni Shakur. I really love Afeni Shakur.
Yeah.
I like the dynamic she had, relationship she had with her grandfather, and that was the idea. And the whole time I'm doing all of these books that I'm doing, I was working. I had just got out the military, and I was working in a factory. Fucking depressed. Because it's like, the mistake that we make in life is that we find something that we're good at, and we think that's what we're supposed to do, because we're good at it.
Right.
But in most cases, that ain't your calling. So I thought I was supposed to be a rap star, right?
Right.
It wasn't until you get to a certain point where it's like, oh, this is not going to happen, is it? It don't matter how good you are, because it takes more than that to be successful in that.
Right.
Found myself working at shelters for abused and abandoned and runaway youth, and I worked at Bexar County Juvenile Detention. Found my calling. The whole time I was doing all of this rap shit, that wasn't it. I just was good at it.
Right.
But in there, I found my calling, and then took a risk in the military. And once I got out the military, I found myself in the factory, and I was like, damn, is this it for me? Is this...
Right.
You meet people, and they're like, yeah, I was just going to do this for 5 years, and it just turned into 30. And I was like, fuck, is that going to be me?
Damn.
I had so much more. At some point, it's just like, if I'm going to work for them, I'm going to work for me. I'm going to school full time. I'm working 12-hour shifts. Just bought a house, got a baby on the way. So it's a lot going on. But I got all these fucking ideas in my head.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 30 seconds at a time. This is stuff, if you have any creators that are actually watching this,
Yeah.
give yourself, like, a lot of people feel like, because if you're young, you feel like it has to be like right now, right now, right now. There's like life after right now. And you got to know that. So I said, I give myself 4 years. 4 years to write as much as I can write, whatever the fuck I want to write, whatever's in here, whatever I can imagine, I'm going to write. 30 seconds at a time. I'm working my machine, grabs the thing, 30 seconds. Put it down, work my machine. I do this shit for 4 fucking years. My first book, my second book, my novel, I wrote shows, I wrote a curriculum for college, just write.
Wow.
30 seconds at a time. I'm at a movie theater, have an idea, write it down.
Write it down.
Put it back. And then after 4 years, to the day, it was like, it's time to see what I can do with this stuff. It's only been a year and a half. This is 3 books in a year and a half. That's four and a half years of work.
Right.
And now it's just harvest time. So you got to do that shit in the dark. Even if you work in a 9 to 5, and this is what we were talking about earlier, was that, if you got to provide for your family, you work for them, but you work for you too. You just got to sacrifice, and you just give yourself goals. You write that shit and put it in front of you, right? For years, I'm obsessed with dry erase boards. Got them all over my office.
Yeah.
Long-term goals, short-term goal.
Me too.
Exactly. Put your goals in front of you. Check them shits off, and then you feel how good it feels to check that shit off. 30 seconds at a time. It adds up. I didn't know what I was going to fucking do. I didn't know what I was doing. I just know. I know how to write. Everything else will come. Everything else will come.
I'm inspired, bro. Like
That was for you, though. That was for you. Because
and I
we were just
appreciate
talking
that.
about that.
No, and I appreciate that so much, just because, like we were saying off camera. Yeah, I know it's time, and it's just a matter of juggling and finding that balance too. Because I know the balance of family life and getting the creative time going, it's a forever ending fight. You know what I mean? And I don't know if anybody ever has the solution. You kind of just have to kind of find and do it your own way.
Now, if you're really ambitious, you're gonna learn how to time manage.
Yeah.
I was just talking about that to Rick. Shout out to Ricky Ortiz.
What up?
But you can teach a master class in time management.
Yeah.
My best friend, Mac Woods, Courtney McLean, he's a really accomplished dude. He always says, I don't got time, I make time. I never have time, I make time. So if you're really ambitious towards something, you plot that shit out, you give yourself leeway, and you do it in all the small seconds. That shit adds up. You don't got a day, but if you got 30 seconds, give yourself 4 years and you can produce.
Yeah. You're clearly a walking testimony of that.
Yeah. It's all time management. That's what you got to do if you really want something.
Yeah.
You don't give up on it. You just make time for it. And you sacrifice. A lot of people give up on their dreams because they don't got time. The whole, I sacrifice everything for my kids.
Right.
And then your kids grow older and they're going to do what they do. And you're just waiting for the rest of your life for your kids to appreciate all the sacrifices you gave because you sacrificed your dreams. You don't have to do that. That's a cop-out. You just got to rearrange some shit. You can still raise your family. You can still provide for your family. But you can still chase your dreams. It's going to take longer, and you just got to be strategic about it. You know what I'm saying? You don't give up on your dreams. You just make time for it. You just plot that shit out. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's on you. That's on you. But you got time. If you got 30 seconds, you got time. You just gotta sacrifice some shit. If you like watching TV, pick a day. No TV this day. You like playing PlayStation? You got time for that. So make some time. If you at work, if you work a job where you're a security guard.
Yeah.
You're in the building, you checking cars. You got all the time in the world. Put YouTube down, put it down.
Quick question, man.
Yeah.
Because mind you said a lot.
A lot of gems right there.
A lot of gems, man. I want to unpack one specific thing.
Okay.
You mentioned right now being really good at something.
Yeah.
Right? How would you justify the time, the effort, the sacrifices that one puts into being so good at something, in your case, rapping, and then ultimately life had different plans?
Because you don't control nothing. All you can control is you. But you don't control nothing. You don't control timing. You don't control fads. You know what I'm saying? You don't control who you have to go through. You don't control gatekeepers. There's a lot of mistakes that I made. I didn't hustle enough. I didn't leave the city when I should have left the city. You know what I'm saying? In a lot of cases, I think that we discovered, I think my generation made all the mistakes that sort of cleared the way. But we just wanted to rep for the tone so bad.
For sure.
Thinking that the tone would give the love back. That's not how the things work. It would have been better if I would have left, blew up, rep for the city, and then came back.
Yeah.
Maybe they would have, you know what I'm saying? But you can't control all the elements. If you go in there and you're really good at something, but they're like, yeah, but it's about dance music right now. Can you make that? Well, then you're not, it don't matter how good you are. This is not what the people want to hear.
Right.
Things change. It went from who's the best lyricist and who can spit the best to vibe. It's about vibe music now. I want to vibe. I don't want to just listen to all the lyrical miracle and all of that stuff. I want to vibe out.
Yeah.
You're not in control of how music changes. You can try and change with it and stay current, but you have to reinvent yourself. You're not just good at one thing. You're really good at this, and there's other things that you're good. You just don't want to explore those things.
Right.
You may have to explore those things, but there's more to you. You got to reinvent yourself. If you can't reinvent yourself, then you're lost.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Reinvention, that's what life is all about. That's what I respect now, is to see people who I knew one way,
Right.
and now you look at them and they're on some old other shit. It's like, I love it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now.
Damn. Look, I'll be pressing that button the whole episode, man. It's good. This is good, man.
And the other thing that I wanted to ask you, man, you mentioned about time, you know what I mean? So thank you for that, because that's kind of what I struggle with now. It's more on the opposite side of the spectrum where I'm putting in so much time where things are falling to the wayside, whether it be my kids or the significant other or whatever. For the amount of content that we create, I'm spending too much time. So it's almost like a vice the other way around.
Okay.
Right? So what would be your insight on that?
Well, you're already on the right track because you're self-aware. You know you're not giving enough time.
Right.
Nobody has to explain that to you. So once you know, you can never not know. So if you know you're not giving enough, just plot. Okay, I don't have it in me to not chase my passion. And my work ethic is my work ethic. But I'm going to have to balance that out by scheduling time to just focus on whatever my kids want to do. I don't care how silly it is. You got daughters? Hey, it's time to paint daddy's nails.
Right.
Whatever. Yeah. Because that's the only real currency you have with your kids. They're going to forget everything else. Kids don't give a fuck about the money you make.
No.
They only care about time. That's the currency. And you only got a certain amount of time. How old is your?
6 and 2.
6 and 2. Well, with the boy, you got about what, 12, 13?
Yeah.
To them,
Yeah,
to that comes,
Yeah.
they ain't worry about you no more. So you got a limited amount of time. So you need to focus in on that. You're gonna rationalize in your head that I'm doing this for them. They don't give a shit about that. Balance the time.
Damn.
Even if you got to schedule it, schedule it. You're not gonna. Your passion is your passion. Your work ethic is your work ethic. But keep in the back of your mind, that's the currency with kids, and that's how they're going to grade you. Is how much time. So if you got to physically schedule it, physically schedule it. You smart. You schedule everything else. So just keep with it. That's who you are.
For sure.
Damn, that shit hurt me, man. Like I did as like, it literally brought me back to a time when I was a child. You know what I'm saying? When my pops and my mom always working.
Right.
And there was a time where, and not saying, my parents, weren't there, because they definitely were involved.
They gonna check
you know what
you.
I'm saying?
They gonna check you.
For sure. No, they about to right now.
You gonna
watch
this out in post.
You know what I mean? Yeah, nah, for real. And so there was just a lot of times where I was literally, times I was home by myself.
Yeah.
And it
Oh,
was-
that's our whole generation.
That was a whole generation.
Yeah.
The-
TV raised us.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And even when my sister was there, like, Video Soul raised me.
Yeah.
That was my first introduction to music.
But you
hip-hop.
know-
You know what I mean? But
Excuse me for interrupting.
Go ahead.
We don't raise kids. We don't raise kids. Kids raise themselves. All you do is, no, don't go that way. No, don't go that way. Don't go that way. When they're youngest, don't go that way.
Right. Don't
But
touch
once
it.
they
That's
start
hot.
getting older, is don't go that way. Don't. All you doing is just pointing in direction. They're gonna raise themselves. You don't raise kids. You just give them direction.
Just got them.
You give them discipline and hope that it sticks. You got to be involved in order to give direction and hope it sticks for the rest of their life.
That's real.
I knew from the jump. It's gonna be one of those.
Yeah, I knew it. Like, and my throat getting all tight, and I gotta, yo. So
and you know what? Like,
crazy.
It's
Yours
wild.
is older too, right?
yeah, my daughter actually be 16 this summer,
Man.
and it's crazy because even now, like, even I feel bad. Like you said, I'm self-aware. You know what I'm saying? I know, like, yo, I'm gonna go film, and she says she understands it,
Right.
And in her mind, sure, she may understand, but yeah, nah, go do your thing. But in my mind, I knew when I was a kid and I wanted to kick it with my parents, they were like, well, I gotta go to work. So I'm like, damn, it's back to me on the Genesis. So with her, I'm like, whatever time I can spend with her, I'm down to do it. Whether that's in to her mind, let's watch Abbott Elementary. I'm down for that. Let's run through it, and that's cool. She even knows sometimes old man syndrome. I'll fall asleep on the couch,
Right.
trying to watch movies and stuff like that, trying to keep up. But my body, like, yo, you need a rest, and she's cool with that. But the fact that I'm there next to her,
Right.
that's all that
Presence.
matters to her.
Every generation is supposed to be better than the one that came before, right? So you're self-aware, and she's old enough to have these conversations. All you got to do is say that. Acknowledgement goes a long way. Like, look, I just want you to know that I realize that I'm not, spending enough time, and I want to.
Right.
Acknowledgement goes a long way, especially when they're at that crucial age, because a father is talking to a daughter like she's an adult.
Right.
You're expressing your feelings and all of that stuff like that.
Right.
You're being vulnerable, which is the strength. You know what I'm saying? Because we was raised differently.
Exactly.
So if you had that conversation with them, that goes a long way.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't trip on any of that. Just talk to her like she's a person. We never had opinions.
No.
I couldn't give my mom a look.
Hell no.
Go take the trash out. It's coming, right?
Exactly.
I couldn't even get it. But now the generation is you can actually speak to them and address their feelings and let them express themselves. Let them get comfortable expressing themselves.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Like you're saying, we're being vulnerable and we're taking a different approach than what we grew up with, right? Mm-hmm. But incidentally enough, like we may be kind of making them more of like
soft.
right, and then they become expectant of the world in a certain way, like their parents were of them, and the world is not at all like that. The world has never changed. Shit is fucked.
And the issue with that is that the balance there is that it's telling them that they're right, like everything that they think or feel is valid. If you raise a generation that's on social media that gets to have an opinion on adult shit and they're speaking their truth as if they know. I'm not saying that their opinion isn't important,
Sure.
But that don't make you right.
True.
Just because you got, the algorithm to just speak stuff. A lot of times they just digesting what everybody else does and then just speaking it back. And there's nobody to tell them that they're wrong because
Facts.
society is starting to tell them like everything is wrong. You can't shame. You can't do this. You can't do that. You got to consider feelings. You can consider feelings while also telling
Sure.
them, no, that's not true.
Right.
But I feel like you feel like you're wrong and you ain't lived long enough to know that you're wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can validate their feelings, but they don't have to be right. A lot of times you give them the platform and you let them talk enough and they feel like they're right. Not knowing you're 20. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about
Exactly.
yet.
Right.
So there's not enough of that. You can validate. Two things can be right at the same time.
That's very true.
Damn.
I'm here for that.
Nah, for sure.
That's what I'm here for.
Nah, you for that all that. Well, shit, there's gonna be a lot more where that came from.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like that kind of goes to the conversation we were talking about squirrels. I feel like participation trophies is
Man.
a thing. You know what I mean? Whether it's music or whatever stuff that they're trying to get into. And Squirrels, if you want to explain that, because I feel like you had a great explanation.
So like us doing this now for the better part of almost 2 years, right?
Yeah.
From inception to what it is now.
Right.
We come across artists, that, and this is music artists, but they come to us and like, hey man, let me get on or whatever, right?
Right.
We look at everybody, mind you.
Right.
But I start seeing like no one is willing to say what they want to say, right? Like the funny anecdote of like, hey man, sometimes you gotta tell your homie he can't rap.
Right.
Like no one's doing that right now. Everyone is, you doing great, bro.
Okay.
Chase your dream.
Let me ask you this. What does it mean now? What does it mean to rap good? How can you tell somebody, like, what do you mean?
That's a great question.
Great question.
For me personally, off the top of my head, what you're saying needs to resonate with me. Either I'm running it back. What did he say? Damn, that shit hit. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying?
We're from a different generation.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is we're from the generation where, like, I want to be the best, right?
Right.
Which means I got to say the best shit the best way.
Right.
I'm aspiring to say the most shit or the dopest shit the best way. Does that exist anymore?
I don't think it no longer exists.
There's an audience for everything.
Sure.
There's different genres and stuff like that. There's vibe music and stuff like that. If you have back then we had, Jay-Z was the top because he was saying the best shit, the best way with the best flows, and we knew who was the best, and that's what we're inspiring to be. You're trying to be the best by saying, like, we had a measuring scale.
Right.
And you knew if somebody is not meeting that, like, nigga, you suck. Like,
Exactly.
you suck, bro. Like, nah, that's not gonna get it, dog. You ain't
Right.
saying nothing. Nah, that's not it. Everything had a measuring stick. There's not a measuring stick. You can't tell somebody it's because there's an audience. You know what I'm saying?
True.
I totally get what you're saying, but then it also, and again, I'm talking, and this may be a moot point to begin with, but I'm talking from the San Antonio ecosystem, right?
Okay.
And there is like this consensus of, first of all, the music is no longer regional. It doesn't sound regional.
That's a great thing.
right,
Right.
It's like a step in the right direction,
Right.
But then, as everything like in the past is now, it starts getting muddied. It starts getting
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like
Sure,
everyone
but-
starts doing it, and
In that argument, I'm happy about that because I was affected by that big time. I remember me and my brother going to rap a lot, and they were like, "We can't sound y'all. Y'all sound like Jay-Z." I was like, I don't sound nothing like Jay-Z.
Right.
What are you trying to say? He was trying to say we're too lyrical.
Right.
And because you're too lyrical, you sound East Coast, and we don't fuck with anything East Coast.
This is the South.
But I grew up, there was no regional thing. Whoever was the fucking hottest.
Right.
Whether that be DOC, NWA, whether that be Jay-Z, whether that be the Hot Boys, or whoever was hot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It wasn't a sound. And then I got it was like the mid-2000s where I was chilling with my homeboy. I was like, yo, did you hear that new Royce the 5'9"? And he was like, who? I was like, Royce the 5'9", he's dope. He was like, you from the South? I was like, nah, he's from, he was like, I don't listen to that shit, nigga. I'm from the South.
Which is
I was
crazy.
like, what is that? What is that supposed to mean? Like he's dope. And he's like, nah, I don't listen to that shit. I'm from the South. And then I just started hearing that over and over, and I was like, oh shit, that's where we're at now.
Yeah.
Right.
It was, but you know, once the South got their stranglehold on the industry, it was like, nah, y'all didn't fuck with us for years. Now we don't fuck with y'all. So that sort of messed me up because, yeah, I was trying to be lyrical and stuff like that, and that gets associated with East. You're like, ah.
Right.
So I was like, I'm glad it's not regional, so people can be themselves, man. People are influenced by what they influence. I remember being a dumbass mad at A$AP Rocky. You ain't from Texas, nigga. Stop doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he was so influenced, and he didn't have a boundary. So I'm glad it's not regional.
And I feel like we kind of jumping all over the place, man. Because I want
That's
to
a
get
conversation.
Yeah.
You know, we're
No,
supposed
for
to.
sure.
Right.
Yeah, no, and this is great.
Yeah, because I want to
hope-
get to your background, man. Because man, I met Jay Flame
Yeah.
in 2005, 6, bro.
Yeah.
And I remember my introduction to him was Lil Man, the song.
Holy shit.
An artist out here. Well, he goes by something else now, but Pauly C is how I knew him.
Fucking Pauly C. Shout out to Pauly C, bro.
Shout out Pauly C.
He was with us for a little while.
Right.
Yeah.
And I came up with him. I cut my fucking teeth with him, man. Like
Yeah.
with him and his crew at the time. You know, I've known of Vandal, but then I saw he got with y'all and whatever,
Yeah.
right? But to your point, what you're saying right now is I remember hearing Little Man and thinking like, who the fuck is this? Right? And then I found out it was like a trio, which was you, Bang Bang, and then Taiwan. But I remember hearing y'all's music and thinking like, why aren't y'all bigger than what y'all are or were at the moment? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Because at the time it was the same. And shout out to Kali because he was here recently, but it was the same people. It was him. It was Fade Dog. It was it was Livola.
Right.
Just the usual suspects.
The city was trying to find its sound.
And a quick question: do you feel like it has found it, or it's
hasn't
still,
found its sound? Because I think that's another argument too. Because like you said, like I was saying, and I've been,
And
you know, and I'm known for saying this. I feel like we've had an identity crisis for a while.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Especially when the Houston run was going.
That's what the issue was.
We tried to sound like Houston. Then when Dallas was going, it was like, well, damn, they found their sound, but we're still trying to do the Houston wave because Houston is the city where everybody's pulling up to right now.
That was the hub. The city was trying to find its sound. And really, you know, the dominant culture was Screw
Yeah.
and Houston. And so that's what they saw fit as their sound.
Right.
And whoever fit into that took the lead. We were on a different wave. You know what I'm saying? So it was a little bit harder, but I mean that's what it's going to be. No, we haven't found our sound, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think music is somewhere different now.
Yeah.
Everybody can be everybody, and I think a lot of artists from my generation are mad at the new artists because they get to be themselves, and we weren't allowed to be ourselves.
True.
If I'm being, and I always am, and if I'm being completely honest, you are only allowed a certain. You just had to be hard. You had to be street. You had to be gangster.
Yeah.
I gotta have a street anthem. I gotta have a girl song. I gotta have a club banger, and that's it.
That was the criteria.
That's the criteria. You're not allowed to be yourself. That was it. Nowadays, they can do whatever they want. They can explore. They can be how they can talk how they. And we're mad. We're mad because they get to be themselves and we didn't get to be ourselves.
Yeah.
I remember when I was starting to like sing and do melodies and shit like that, and everybody was like, "That sounds good, but are you like singing, dog? You're singing? Can't do that shit."
Right.
And I was like, "Why? Like why? Like that's just the way it. That's the way it comes out.
Right.
Like it goes from here, microphone, and they're like, it sounds good, but nah, that ain't it." 2 years later, and comes the singing and the auto tones and the shit, and I'm just looking at people like, I was doing that.
Yeah. But now y'all saying how he did it was dope. But when I do it,
Yeah. But timing.
time.
You couldn't have predicted your Kid Cudi start to come in, your Kanye hits.
Yeah.
It's all timing. Next thing you know, T.I. is, you could have whatever you like. And I'm just looking at everybody like, what the fuck? If y'all just would have, you know what I'm saying? But you
sure.
can't control it. You can't control timing. You can't control how things move. All you can do is do your best, man, and have fun, dog. I had a lot of fun. I didn't get nothing out of it. I woke up at like 27. That's how it felt. Like you wake up from a dream like, oh, this shit ain't gonna happen, is it?
Damn.
It didn't matter how good I was trying to be, but, trying to be, building up those muscles for excellence led me here. I'm not just writing books.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the best writer that San Antonio ever produced. I'm
Talk
chasing
about
James, I'm chasing James Baldwin.
Yeah.
I'm chasing Toni Morrison. My ambitions is out there because I spent years and years and years of my young years with my floor in my house covered with papers of raps and stuff like that. I was dedicated to that shit.
Yeah.
That built my muscle for discipline right now. So I don't see not making it in that as a loss. It wasn't a loss. It was building me. I was training. For now it's time to execute. It's in my muscles to want to be the best at anything I touch because I was trying to do that when I was rapping.
Right.
So, just because you're trying to be the best doesn't mean you're going to be the best. You know what I'm saying? You just try and then turn that work ethic and all that discipline, that muscle into something else. Reinvent yourself. Do something greater. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. I'm saying this, and it's funny because we're going to see where y'all at in a little bit.
Yeah.
In like 5. This going to turn into some other show, talk show. I'm hosting this, I'm this. You're somewhere else. You were building these muscles when y'all were starting here. This is not where y'all going to be at. It's sort of like how we saw females. When I was 22, oh, you got green eyes? That's enough. You got a fat butt? That's good.
Right.
When I got 24, are you cool to be around?
Right.
When I got 26, like, what job are you working?
Yeah.
When I got 30, do you read? Did you go to school? As you get older, you start adding shit to the list. You start adding, you start building up and building up. So by the time you meet somebody that's going to be your wife, she's a person of substance. You didn't just go for the green eyes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
You got to be wary of those people that never changed. If I'm still rapping, but like, about the same shit, it was like, damn, you didn't grow, did you? Y'all going, and I give y'all 5 years, and it's going to be crazy where you're at.
I appreciate it, man.
Because now you know you can do it.
Right.
But now, you went quick from, I just want to have a podcast. Now all of a sudden you guys got different segments and stuff like that. Now you're in the segments, different show types and stuff like that. The evolution is fast if you're dedicated. Yeah, if you allow yourself to like really explore your imagination. We could do this shit. All right, let's just try it, even if it fails.
Right. Not for sure. And it's crazy you say that because that's literally how everything went down. Like this show went from and I think we're gonna get back to it, but like literally me just having my opinion on whether it's movies, video games, or sports, whatever, et cetera. Stuff that I was enjoy doing to now getting into the minds of yourself and a lot of these artists and getting to know them.
Yeah.
Versus the artist. Because being an artist is one thing, but getting to know the mind state of some of these people and picking their brains a little bit, I think a lot of people gained a lot of knowledge from a show like this. And then that created still, with Skrills and I still have our love for hip hop music.
Of course.
Wanted to see Rhapsody the Basement come back again. Let's try our own segment with just rap.
Brilliant.
With shout out my guy Bank. I'm the world's most pickiest eater. You know that. My palate is chicken tenders and burgers, plain and dry.
Yeah, you're gonna pay for that. I also see your future in 5 years. you gonna pay for that shit. Ain't nothing in this life for free. Enjoy it now.
Man, listen, I'm trying to. I'm gonna enjoy it, but yeah, you're right though. I need to change quick. And but yeah, we started Desire Nah, and that's gaining traction. And
it's funny, it's entertaining. Y'all went just like that.
And I think we still got more in store. That's the wild part.
Plenty, and it's about to happen. Allow yourself to evolve, and don't be afraid of reinvention, of change. Yeah. Embrace it. The scariest thing in this world is not death or any of that bullshit. It's change. Motherfuckers don't want to change.
That's a fact. People get comfortable, and they like being comfortable.
Perfect way to say is exactly that. Is being afraid of change.
It's the unknown.
Yes.
Imagine you thinking this and come to find out that's wrong. And now that you know it's wrong, you've got to change your whole makeup, the way you do things, because you've been thinking a certain way your whole life.
Right.
And then it's bullshit. Mm-hmm. And now what? Do I double down? Do I just, this is what I know? Or do you change? The changing type of person is fucking rare.
Yeah.
Everybody else would just double down on what they know because it's comfortable and it feels good and it's what I know. It's the other person that decides I don't know what this means for me, but I just gotta, I know. And once you know, you can never unknow.
Before I was so fixated, and we almost kind of still are a little bit, but before I was so fixated on wins and losses. I gotta win. I can't lose.
Right.
But recently, there's been a shift, at least internally for me, there's been a shift to where, like, I don't care if we win or lose. What I care about is if we learned from that experience. And I think this happened recently when we were in South by, where I felt like things didn't really go our way. We didn't talk to enough people that I thought we wanted to talk, but the experience that we had and the lessons that we learned, and ultimately I thought, you know what, it's almost a strength to be able to lose and know what that actually is worth, right?
Because you survived.
Exactly.
As long as you found out, oh, I ain't die. Oh, I can survive this?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it ain't shit. It ain't shit. I can survive. It ain't shit. It's when I was young, getting them lights turned out or electricity turned off and stuff like that. If I ain't die, it was uncomfortable for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
I got the lights and shit turned back on. I got a better job and stuff like that. There's nothing that can come in front of me now. I'm used to, like, you gonna fire me and you think that's gonna break me? I used to get the lights turned off and electricity. I had to turn the candles on. The water would get turned off. I survived that shit.
Yeah.
Can't break me. I survived that shit. I know I can survive the shit.
Right.
You know that it's not a loss, it's a lesson.
Right.
So that changes every part of your makeup. Like I was talking earlier, I love critique now.
Yeah.
I know I'm dope. You ain't gotta tell me that. And I'm not humble.
Right.
But I need the critique. You chase the critics, not the praise. Because as soon as you chase the praise, you're good once you get it. Because that's all you want. Once you get it, you're good. You never evolve. I need to know the negative shit because that's just a different point of view. Even if I don't agree with it, even if I know my shit is dope, I need that other side. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you need people in your life like Ricky. Ricky's not the kind of person, like I said before, Ricky's not the kind of person when I put out a book or something like that, Ricky don't go, hey, congratulations. He calls me up. Y'all don't like your profile picture on your Amazon page. You need to get a professional to do the headshot and shit like that. Like, whatever, dog. But I like that shit. When I did my first book, he was the one who was like all I know how to do is write. I don't know how to publish and none of that shit like that. He was like, yo, what you gonna do about your book cover? I don't fucking know. He's like, you ever heard of Fiverr?
Right.
I was like, nah, I don't. He was like, just check it out. They do shit. Got my cover done. Rick was like, I don't like that shit. It looks like a mixtape cover. But I knew that was a good image. So he had his critique, but I'm going to stick to my guns.
Right.
Then when I'm going to selling the book, I'm outside selling the book. I got all these different people, white people walking up. I like the cover. I'll buy it. And I'm just sort of looking at Rick like, I knew. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People buy it just for the cover, but it was still like you still need that person.
Yeah.
I need that critique. And now I'm at the point where it's like I don't do the praise of like that was dope. I know. But what didn't you like about it? Like when you read my books, that's the feedback I want. What didn't you like?
And
what was the part that you hated the most?
Right.
What made you feel, right? When I wrote this book, I have a part in this book that I always know that I'm going to get a reaction out of. So I wait for it. And if I can get a phone call, be like, why did you do that? Why'd you do this to this person? I was like, that's all I need. I need you to feel. If I can get you to feel a certain way, then at least you're paying attention to my art. And that's all I gave a fuck about. That's all I gave a fuck about with music. Just wanted somebody to fucking feel me. Because I wasn't just like, I'm rapping from here. So I just needed you to feel me. And as soon as I got that reaction, that's why it's cool to be like, yo, you were never that nigga. I said, but those niggas knew.
Right.
Whoever you knew that were that, they know me. I got the respect. The respect is fine. I'm good.
Right.
I'm cool with that.
Because that was the generation we came from.
As long as you remember, because I put in the work to be remembered, I couldn't control what made me the top. I can only control what gets me respected. That's it. And I'm okay with that. I'm here for this. I'm here for this.
I love this convo.
Absolutely, me
This
too,
convo
man.
is great. I feel like this was long overdue, and I feel bad for having you. You know, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time, dog. Y'all was real Hollywood. Y'all was real Hollywood. It was like 3 years ago. Yo, we got to get you on the podcast. I know. Put me on there. We'll get you.
We talked back when we was on the old set. You know what I mean? And then now we
Christ,
here. You
bro.
know what I'm saying?
Trust timing, dog.
But timing is everything. You know
Trust
what I'm saying?
timing.
To your earlier point though, man. Yeah, the whole wins and losses thing is. Personally, my last point to that is that's one side of the coin.
Yeah.
Which I think I'm more comfortable with now. But the other side is being able to accept change.
Yes.
Regardless of what it is.
Yes.
As soon as I'm able to get that side of the coin, it's game over.
Right.
Because at that point you're indestructible. You're invincible.
All you need is control. That's it. Because clearly, the whole thing we've been talking about is y'all clearly have the vision.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got the vision, you got the ideas. Means nothing because you don't control shit. You got to do what you got to do to get the control.
Yeah.
And you got to be okay with that. Sometimes that may take you some time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was telling people, you know, I when I've done other shows and whatnot, when they finish a show, they're like, hey, let the people know where they can find you, know, where to follow you. Man, don't follow me, follow your heart. People look at me like, I'm crazy. What does the following do for me? It's not currency. What you gonna do? You gonna just watch me take pictures? That doesn't do anything for me. I want control. I'm gonna build up my esteem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got the ideas and all of that. I don't need anything that's worthless to me.
Yeah.
I ain't got the time for that. Y'all got the vision. You just do what you got to do. I don't want to be an influencer. I want to be an influence. There's a difference. Being an influence doesn't mean that people are going to see it in my lifetime.
Right.
You understand? I'm okay with that, though. So y'all have to be the same way. What if it takes you 7 years to get control? Or do you give up before that? Or do you recognize and you sit there and plot and you got to be okay with using time? You guys are young. And because you're young, you can use time like a fucking superhero. If you acknowledge that it doesn't end now, that you don't get your shit now. If you plot it out, if you stay disciplined, it's going to come and you'll be able to enjoy it. It's not going to like you're going to be 60 years old or something like that.
Right.
Just give it some time. Like, use time like a superpower. Bide that shit out. Don't want it now. Plot for the future. For when it comes, it's like, look, I've been waiting for this shit. I don't need y'all for nothing. Cut the check. I've been building for this. I got the ideas. Cut the check.
Come on, man. And I'm adding the air horn, and I'm adding the bomb on that one.
And I'm here for all of that.
I'm here for. Listen.
I'm here for all of that.
Listen,
Wage war. Wage war on the machine, dog.
Oh my God.
Push buttons, nigga.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, cause dog, like that's so important. You're absolutely right, and I think that's another reason why Nip, you know, the late great King Nip was one of my favorites because he was preaching that early. And it's crazy how people are kind of just now figuring it out. Like, oh, this is what he was talking about, and it's like, dog, he was preaching this in his mixtapes. Did y'all not see the Crenshaw marketing tool and how he did that?
I caught on to Nip early because I watched an interview with Nip, and the guy was like, I see you out of here, man. You doing big things, man. I see you shining. You ain't got your chain. Where's your chain at? And Nip's like, I don't need that chain, man. I'd rather invest it. And the dude was like, what did you say?
Right.
Because he was an older interviewer, and he was like, I'd rather invest that in different stuff. And he had never heard anybody say anything like that. Neither have I. And I was like, you can do that, bro?
Right.
He put me on, and that was like 2009 or something like that. He was doing that then.
Right.
He was approaching motherfuckers with reading lists, top of the top. And then he was like, are you reading? And then he'd have a reading list for you. He was a different sort of dude. The thing about Nip is, Nip changed gangbanging. He's the evolution of it.
The evolution, yes.
It's no longer acceptable to just be a gangbanger. He was an entrepreneur. He read. He was spiritual. He had knowledge. That's what a gangbanger looks like now.
Right.
I don't know what you're doing. He was the evolution of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now, because of Nip, when you look at gang stuff, it doesn't look like gangbangers. It looks like tribes. Because that's how he talked about it.
Right.
He fucked with people from different tribes, and they fucked with him.
Right.
Because his mentality was different. And he related gangbanging to tribes in Africa. He's the evolution of it. Anything else is regular now because of him. You can't be the same type after him. That's legacy.
That's a fact.
That's legacy. After that, that's what I want. Is like, when you remember me, it was like, and then there was Nip.
Right.
Everything after this person changed. I was a Pock guy until Nip came. And then you saw the execution of everything that Pock had the potential. He had the potential, but he went backwards.
Exactly.
Nip was the execution of that. And that's why all my energy got transferred from Pock.
Right.
I love him, but there's Nip.
There's Nip.
After Nip, everything changed. That's the legacy I want.
Low key?
After me,
Yeah.
nothing was the same.
Listen,
That's what I'm chasing.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Keep that title, and then there was Nip. Because I swear to God, you could do a doc or a film.
Well, they're about to, it's getting ready to come, right? The doc.
Yeah.
It looks incredible.
Looks incredible. I damn near got goosebumps thinking
Yeah,
about that.
I'm here for that. I'm here for all of that. Push buttons and get the goosebumps.
Because that is true though. Because I mean, like you said, when you heard about investing and self-made independence and all that, we automatically thought Jay.
Yeah.
But then when Nip came in, and then there was Nip.
See, Jay was different though, because Jay was like he's like the basketball player that leads through his play. Jay was teaching you stuff, but he was balling on you niggas.
Yeah.
That's how you learned.
Right.
Nip was like, this is how we do it. We. I'm not above. I'm with you. This is how we do it. Let me show you. Jay was like, get like me, nigga.
Right.
And he was right. He taught you, but he balled on your ass too.
Right.
So, he was different, man. That's the kind of legacy you want. After you, everything changes. I'm not the ripple, I'm the rock.
So obviously Nip was a huge influence.
Super influence. He's a prophet to me.
Yeah.
I think he was a prophet to me.
All right, man. So, I'm going to ask you, top 5 then.
Here's what I'll say about that. It sucks to have to rearrange I had to rearrange my top 5
I do it all the time.
For Kendrick.
I do it all the time.
For Kendrick.
Yeah.
I gotta rearrange my top 5 for him. He done put out how many? 5?
Yeah, about 5. I think 5.
He's hit every time.
True.
So he's the only rapper to ever win a Pulitzer for the wrong album.
Right.
That's how good he is.
Right.
He should have got it for To Pimp.
Absolutely. He absolutely should have
He got it for Damn. I was like, y'all got the wrong album. This was him coming down for like, I swear I'm not going to make another one like that again. Let me give y'all back what y'all wanted. Because, To Pimp a Butterfly separated everything, but he done put out project after project. If it's not a classic, it's a masterpiece. Sorry, niggas got to move. So I'm going in no order.
No order. Okay, be clear.
I can't do an order. Jay.
Gotcha.
Nas.
Gotcha.
Kendrick.
Okay. Everybody has that top 3, but then when it gets to 4 and 5, shit comes to a pause real quick.
It gets a little weird. Jay, Nas,
Kendrick.
There's a tie between Face and Cube. There's a tie.
Okay.
I'm not picking between them two.
I'll let that slide.
Between Face and Cube.
I'll let it slide. Okay. And
then,
that slide.
I'll give you. It's hard between Big and Pock, because Big, he only gave you 2,
Right.
but he gave you 2 different perspectives.
Yes.
He was broke, he was hungry, he was suicidal, he was living it, and then he made dough, and he was a different guy. I value that shit. Tell me a different story. Pock, he might be the greatest rap artist of all time.
That's interesting.
And I'm only saying that because his impact was.
And I try to explain that to people. I think Pock, before Nip, I think Pock was literally the people's champ.
He can't lose.
He couldn't lose because he came from the streets. He came from the gutter where the people was at, in the trenches where the people was at, and he spoke for the people.
He was something.
And-
they got
and
they got a statue in Europe of Pock that like revolves, like they take it from place to place to place.
No, I did not know that.
It's crazy. Look it up. There's a statue of Pock.
Wow.
And they take it from like country to country to country. He's different.
Yeah.
Because he touched at a different place. I tell people all the time, when I'm trying to talk to people about vulnerability for dudes, because we was always taught that that was like some soft shit.
Right.
Turns out that's actual strength. Vulnerability is strength. Look at the niggas who we think are the hardest. Look at DMX. Look at Pac. They're the most vulnerable motherfuckers ever.
Absolutely.
Crying during prayers. Pac basically rapped to his mama and God his whole career.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
He was suicidal. He was talking about he's going to hell. He knows somebody's going to kill it. He's the most vulnerable motherfucker, and that's why we thought he was the hardest. Because
Right.
it's so hard to wear your heart on your, like your feelings on your sleeve.
Yeah.
It takes a whole lot of balls, and DMX was the same way.
Yeah.
So he pushed that hard. And then you look at the people who we thought was, you look at 50 and all of them who are hard and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the thing with 50 is that we was just waiting for 50 to die.
Right.
That's why he blew. He got shot 9 times, and then he got louder.
Right.
And we ain't never seen nothing like that.
Nah.
50 was fucking bold in a way that we had never seen. So it was like, surely this nigga's about to get killed.
Right.
Surely. So let me just buy his stuff now and let's watch this train wreck together. But he didn't die.
He didn't die.
But that's vulnerability. You're waiting for him to get touched because he got touched
Right.
in a major fucking way.
Right.
But that's what made him hard, his vulnerability. I learned that working with the kids and juvie and stuff like that. They only really respected, you can go in there on some tough guy shit, but they only respected when I talked to them about when I lost in life, that's when the respect came. Because they can relate to that.
Right.
And it was like, oh, be honest, be vulnerable, and then you can reach people. When you look at stuff like rehab centers and stuff like that, they don't hire a lot of priests. They hire former addicts.
Right.
I need to see people who suffered the way that I suffered. Your hands are all scarred up from picking up the broken pieces of your life. I respect that. You got to be, I want the dirt. I respect the dirt.
Yeah.
To be like a politician or a priest or something, you got to be clean. And most people can't relate to that.
Yeah.
You can represent me. To represent me, you got to be clean. To reach me, you got to be dirty. I respect the dirt. And that's the same way with those artists. So I would put Pock before Big, even though Big was more skilled.
I like that. That's solid.
I went on a tangent, my bad.
Nah. That's what this is about, man. It's
talk.
it's literally a conversation. Nah, you said I talk.
I talk.
You actually, if I can ask, what would you say is like today's most like detrimental factor in today's youth?
I'm at a crossroads now, where it's like, my culture is hip hop. I'm 40. And being 40, I see hip hop's the problem. And it hurts my feelings
I feel you.
to say that, because it starts to feel like, oh, you're the old angry. I'm not. It's just what we say, they'll do.
We have a big microphone, man.
We have a big microphone. I'm old enough to remember the native tongues, right? I'm old enough to remember Public Enemy and KRS-One and all that stuff when we was wearing Africa and X and we were reading and stuff like that, because that's what was popular. So they had us reading, they had us studying history, they had us embracing our own cultures and stuff like that.
Right.
And then NWA, that shit switched real fucking quick. And then Pock and all of that stuff, and that switched real quick. What they say, we'll do.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's really culture. It's really culture. When I was in there, everybody is on Xannies, everybody's on bars, everybody's on lean. Where's that coming from? The music.
The music, yeah.
What we say they'll do. And that sucks to feel like, and it sucks to be like, you guys listened to me when y'all were younger.
Right.
I was part of that. When we look at the generation right now that we have a whole bunch of complaints about, we forget who raised them. We raised them. We just kind of want to forget that shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
in that situation, it's the cultures and the OGs,
Yeah.
if we're being honest.
So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
True love is the information that you pass down, and they're gonna take the information that you pass down.
Yeah.
So I'd say the culture, and I'd say the OGs. You keep a cycle going because that's what you knew. So you train whoever's young, and that's what they know, and that's what they know. And
I mean, in some instances, you've heard like lack of OGs, right? Lack of direction. But you're saying that
no, it's the type of information you get. More OGs is not the answer. Like more cops is not the answer. What are they doing? You know what I'm saying? If you put more cops into a community, are they still beating our ass? Are we still getting slammed on a hot hood?
Right.
Are we still getting targeted to make a quota? It wasn't the answer. You know what I'm saying? So if you bring in more OGs, but they're giving you the same fucking message, what does it matter? They don't equal out. They don't balance out.
My question, kind of to double back with the culture and, you know, the culture raising our children and everything, you know, you being super involved, you know, in fatherhood and things like that. How are you changing that?
I changed that by being self-aware for myself. Like, there's a lot of things. Before my sons were born, there's a lot of things, like, I pictured how I was going to raise my sons.
Right.
Before my son is 3 years old, he's going to know who Martin Luther King, he could point out Malcolm X and the lineup and all of this and this and this and this. That's my shit.
Right.
That's my shit. And I want to pour all of my shit into them. I want my son he going to be a dope-ass basketball player and football player and all that, because I did that. That's
Right.
my shit. Why can't they be them?
Right.
One of the hardest things that I had to do is pull back. All the things I want to do, they'll get it. They'll get it.
Sure.
When I was growing up in my dad's house, all I saw was records and books and all that stuff. He wasn't forcing that on me or anything like that. That was just him.
Right.
I walk into my office now, it's vinyl records and books. I'm him.
You're him now. Yeah.
He didn't have to force it. I got it. It was surrounding me. All the books that influenced my life, he never pushed those on me. They just were around me. You know what I'm saying? And just allow them to be kids. You know what I'm saying? Try to do something different. Yeah, I grew up playing football and boxing and all of that stuff like that. Why can't my son, why can't I give him, DJ equipment instead? He don't got to have a dope-ass crossover to be real. I'd rather him be creative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Be creative. You ain't got to be cool. That's subjective.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's been hard, is checking myself. My son was having trouble in school, and I didn't know where it was coming from because, I hit the bag and stuff like that. But other than that, you don't see any violence coming from me. And I didn't understand why he was getting in trouble.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to teach him how to, look, when you get angry and stuff like that, you got to, take a breath.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I can't just tell him, I got to show him, right? So once I show him, the behavior changed and I realized, oh, it was me. Because every time he did something, I immediately snapped on him. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to nip the behavior in the butt.
Right.
But he's looking at me immediately. As soon as something happens that displeases you, take care of that shit right now. And that's what he absorbs in his little 4-year-old, 5-year-old brain. So he's not having it when he's at school. If you trip over my backpack, I'm going to knock you out.
Right.
Because that's what he knows. And I was like, oh, it was me.
Damn.
Oh. So you got to check yourself. You want to change anything around you, you got to change yourself. Everything that operates around you will turn on its axis as soon as you start changing shit about you. You want to change things, but you can't control nothing. All you can control is yourself. So if you want to change your world, you change yourself. And everything around your world is going to change. The older you, when you're young, bosses can just talk shit about you. They can talk shit to you. As soon as you decide that that's enough and you're going to conduct yourself, I'm going to talk to somebody with respect, so that's what I expect. Everybody around you is going to start talking to you a little bit different because you talk to them different and you expect nothing different. But that's because you changed yourself and you didn't check them about, yo, watch how you fucking talk to me. No, I'm going to watch how I talk to you. Therefore, you're going to watch how you talk to me because I don't disrespect you, so you won't respect me.
Right.
I'm here for that.
Man,
I'm here for that.
Listen, I'm at a loss for words, bro.
I mean,
this was definitely well needed, and I think this is probably one of my favorite episodes. Just off, on the record, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Just because, I feel like the conversation was long overdue, and
I think so too.
I think this is gonna help out a lot of people, man.
This is real talk.
and that's why I appreciate episodes like this, because this is just a real conversation, and
And maybe that was what needed. Man, you know what I do. I always advertise what I do. And you can always bring me back or we talk because I'm not gonna stop creating. I got more shit coming.
I know you got more on the
Bring
way.
me back.
I
We can
know.
talk about that, but timing. If this is what was needed, let's talk. I'm here for this. That's why you called me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kai Phoenix,
The Revolutionary.
the Revolutionary out now.
Must you burn before you respect fire? Militant man child.
All right.
I'm on a king disease run.
I said, oh, so you getting ready for part 4 then?
Of course. I'm here for that.
He's here for it all, and y'all should go cop this book. Where can they get the book at, man?
Amazon.com.
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 The Revolutionary out now, and more of his catalog, his books, pardon me,
Thank you.
everywhere. Y'all be sure to check him out. And like you said earlier, I guess where can they find you at if they want to follow you and get in touch
Don't
with you?
follow me, follow your heart.
There we go. Skrills. Hold on, before.
Skrills.
Where can they find you at, bro?
I got a lot to think about, man.
Listen,
That changed some shit for
Nah,
him too.
listen.
I can't promote myself after that shit.
dog, listen. I gotta look in the mirror to myself
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
And I gotta look and ask myself, how much of a man are you, Marcus?
Yo, and
Why
by
do
the
I
way,
gotta
what
follow
have
you?
you done lately?
What are you doing?
And by
What
the
are
way,
you
Nice
doing?
picture. I could have been following my dreams, but I'm too busy hearting your shit.
oh man,
Oh my God, this is great. This is great. I guess follow me at Mazi's World Official. I guess.
I guess if you want to,
if you want to, if you want to like
you
my
can actually
shit,
be doing your shit. But
if you want to like my pictures and my
Yeah.
reels that I've been posting, I guess at
my
Mazi's World
family's
Official.
pretty too. But
But yeah, man, be sure to like, share, subscribe. Thank y'all for tuning in each and every Monday. And yeah, I guess we'll holler at y'all at the next one, man. Y'all be safe. Peace.
Maserati.
So focused, I just need some meaning to my name. Plus, I'm cheating with these codes. If you thinking it's a game, that's real talk. Man, this ain't no game to me. This ain't no game to me. This ain't no